Welcome back. We start off again with African news, and this was one of the most shocking blights on our continent's history. 24 years on, the Rwandan genocide of 1994 is being remembered. More than 800,000 lives were claimed during ethnic clashes. The mass killing of mostly ethnic Tutsis by the majority Hutus was sparked by the assassination of the president, Juvenal Habyarimana, by the Tutsi-led Rwandan Patriotic Front that is now in power. A day after he was killed, Hutu soldiers assassinated the Prime Minister and began to systematically target and slaughter people. The flame of remembrance will burn for 100 days until July the 4th, the date when the genocide was stopped. Despite this violence, this history of genocide, Rwanda, now seen as a nation of potential, it has a huge tech hub, one of the biggest on the African continent. It's known for stability and economic growth at the moment. So let's look at the past and where we are now. Joining us in studio, journalist and African political analyst at Channel Africa is Komo. Thank you for being with us. So are we doing enough, firstly, to remember?
Well, I think, I suppose they're doing enough to remember because it's been talked about every time. And not only that, people are actually wary about instigating violence, through the media. Because the media, they say, was the thing that was used to actually instigate the killings. Yeah. But then
the
again,
use of cockroaches and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, what really needs to happen is that the truth has got to come out as really what happened. Now that is something which we have actually got to dig up. Yeah.
Well, Paul Kagame has been hailed as the hero who stopped the genocide. Now there's this new debate about whether he, in ordering the killing of the former president, was the actual catalyst for genocide.
You see, the bringing down of the plane, it triggered the genocide. There's no doubt about that. And for a long time, the narrative was this, that the plane was put down by Hutu extremists. But now that the RPF, which was a solid group, it has divided. You've got RPF former officers who were in exile.
So let's just clarify, the Rwandan Patriotic Front, which is Kagame's party.
Which is Kagame's party, which is basically a Tutsi-dominated party. Yeah. Now, some of them are in exile, and these were senior army officers, people like Nyamwasa. Now, these people have said it openly that the plane was shot down by the RPF. Nyamwasa said that he was in charge at the airport and that he actually sort of was instrumental in actually bringing the plane down. But he said that the order came from Kagame. And he said he's prepared to go to any court to actually answer charges of bringing down the plane. But he said that he's going to go there on condition that Kagame also gets there. And it was not only him, there's other generals, who's another one, I forget his name, but he's in the state. And he's come with the same thing. Has
Kagame ever admitted or hinted that he may have been involved?
Well, Kagame, he has not said anything, he denies it. But I mean, so it was a known thing. I mean to say that from Tanzania, I was in Tanzania at the time when the plane was brought down. But from intelligence circles in Tanzania, they said, no, that plane was brought down by the RPF.
There are even more damaging claims that the RPF could have set up safe zones to help fellow Tutsis. They could have done more, leaving foreigners there to protect Tutsis. But the claim is that they let this happen to gain power. Could Kagame be that callous?
Well, I mean to say that Kagame, it's a very interesting thing. I mean to say Kagame, when he came with the RPF, he had actually started fighting with the Ugandan forces. In fact, he fought in the Ugandan war as a Ugandan. And he was taken to the USA to train in the American army institutions. They are very notorious institutions which also trained the Contras, as a Ugandan. And many of his officers were trained as Ugandans. And from there, Museveni helped them to launch the whole thing. But then with the war in Uganda, I mean, say now things are coming out of some very serious things which were done by the forces of Museveni. Yeah, and Kagame was in charge, and he was in charge of security. So basically, he's got many cases to answer, but nobody's digging them out from Uganda right into Rwanda. So basically, what they say is that he's possible of doing what he did.
Does this help you assess the claims against Kagame right now? So Rwanda is the success story, economic growth, stability, tech advances. But it's said that he would do anything to oppress political opposition, that he's been involved in murder. I haven't seen any real evidence, but does this point to who we are talking about?
Well, Kagame is notorious. I mean to say that he has actually sort of silenced the media, and the media has been silenced through outright murder. I mean to say that people were against him. I mean, there's Kagame who was here in South Africa. He was actually sort of eliminated by agents of the Rwandan government.
So journalists
now, I would not actually sort of name the man himself, yeah? But I mean to say the system that he's got is doing the job. I mean to say that there are people in exile who are in Tanzania, who are in Uganda, who are in Kenya, who have been murdered. There are people who have been killed in Britain. And the British MI5 has been warning Rwandans that they should look out, that there are murder squads who are out for them. So basically the Rwandan regime, it actually follows its enemies wherever they are to the end of the world. Yeah? So that is the real nature of Kagame's government. But unfortunately, he has got the support of the West. I mean to say this case of people calling for Kagame to get into some type of tribunal, I mean to say that it's not been taken up by countries like Britain, not only Britain, USA. Yeah, they tend to brush it aside. But it's a serious case because the bringing down of the plane did actually trigger the genocide. So I mean to say that the West and other people have got to actually take stock of what really of who Kagame is and of the truth.
I've been in Switzerland, and he was the darling of Davos one year. He was on every single stage, being hailed as one of Africa's most successful leaders. So, but presumably, the success is not worth that sort of sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean to say that democracy in Rwanda, it's within inverted commas, it is imposed, I mean, so there's almost no democracy, but it's the darling of the West, as you're saying. Yeah, that is true. But I mean to say, you find that the success story of Rwanda, what's it based upon? It's based upon heavy, what you call Western American subsidy. Yeah, that budget of theirs, it has been subsidized to a tune of about 50 to 60%. Yeah, some even say to 70%, and things like that. But of course, it's about change. But again, you find that the rule of the people, he's feared. I mean to say that in Rwanda, every month, and there are people who've got to go out and clean the street. I mean to say that the issue of cleaning the street, it's a feudal thing. Under the feudal rulers of the Tutsis, I mean Hutus, the lesser caste, they used to do work for the king, and that thing is being brought back. I mean, you dare not refuse when you say they've got to go and sweep the streets. Yeah.
Can we at least say that he stopped the open hatred between Hutus and Tutsis? Although there is this fear that if he goes, it may be suppressed and all start spouting up again.
You see, the thing about him is that he's got the military power. And the thing which is lacking in Rwanda, although they say that it has taken place, is the truth and reconciliation. I mean to say that hatred, I don't think if it's really stopped, because basically Rwanda is a country that's dominated by that minority of the Tutsi minority. Yeah, and he's got the military power, he's got the support of the West as the man who stopped the genocide. He's got the military assistance, and he's got a very powerful army trained by the American special forces. But to tell the truth, that has he really got the support of the people? I mean to say there are many people who are dissatisfied. All voices, independent voices, who tend to interrogate whatever he does. I mean, they've been silenced. I mean to say that people have been trying to come and compete with him in elections. There's this other lady who has been jailed for actually sort of stemming racial hatred. So basically, the peace that we've got there, we would ask, is it real peace, yeah? Or is it just a piece of oligarchy, which is putting down the opposition? And the opposition has got no other way but to seem to be happy. That's a question that's being asked. But we've seen that people running away, his own people from the RPF, coming out to exile. it shows that there is something, things are not okay within his own sphere.
It's peace only possibly because of an iron fist. Finally, what should the West think about? Because America was criticized at the time, but the world allowed this to happen. People are saying we're allowing Syria to happen again. I mean, have we not learned from Rwanda?
You see, personally, I mean to say that some of us who are in the know, is this that we say that the West, Britain, America, they're hypocrites because they knew exactly what happened.
What do you mean, African leaders?
I'm talking about the West.
Okay.
They knew exactly what happened when, and not only that, they actually supported the whole rebellion against Habyarimana, for their own means. And not only that, Kagame has been used to destabilize the East, or Eastern Congo DRC. And it's been done so with the assistance of the West. The West cannot say, do not know what it is. So he's an agent of the West. So basically, I mean to say that some of us just take it with a pinch of salt, what the West have done. They know exactly what is done. And they know exactly what is happening in the Great Lakes area.
All right, thank you so much. Sure.
Thank you for having me.
Very disturbing looking back. That was Izzat Komo from the African Channel, Bongani.